Have you ever felt like the whole world of finance is speaking some secret language you're not in on? You're smart, but maybe you just don't know all the smart words. Well, guess what? Today, we're cracking that code. We are going to translate all those complicated financial terms into something way simpler, the language of monkeys and bananas. This right here, this really nails it, doesn't it? The goal isn't to become someone else. It's just to learn the lingo. Because once you do that, your inner smart monkey can finally start making some really big moves in the financial jungle. Okay, you ready? Let's dive in. So here's the game plan for our journey. First up, we're going to talk about your personal financial health. Then we'll get into the really fun stuff, how to actually grow your stash of bananas. After that, we'll zoom out and learn how to read the signals of the entire financial jungle. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with some pro-level moves for the cleverest monkeys in the troop. Let's kick things off with the absolute fundamentals of your financial health. It really all boils down to one simple question. What do you have and what do you owe? It all starts with two big words. First, an asset. An asset is basically any valuable thing you own. Like your fancy banana phone or that sweet treehouse. On the flip side, you have a liability. That's any debt you owe, like the loan on your monkey car or that credit card bill from maybe buying a few too many bananas last month. And this is where it all comes together in one super important number, your net worth. It's easy to figure out. You just take your total assets, in this case, that's 500,000 leaves, and you subtract all your liabilities, which are 300,000 leaves. And boom, what's left over? That 200,000 leaves is your net worth. It's the cleanest, clearest snapshot of your financial health. Now, if you want to get a loan, a bank might want a little something to guarantee they'll get their money back. That guarantee is called collateral. It's when you promise them one of your assets, like your banana car. If you can't pay back the loan, and that's called a default, well, the bank gets to take your car. It's their way of making sure the deal isn't too risky for them. All right, so you've got the basics of your own finances down. Let's move on to section 2, which is where things get exciting. How to actually make that pile of bananas grow bigger and bigger over time. A super common way to grow your stash is by buying a stock. So when you buy a stock in, say, the big banana company, you literally own a tiny, tiny piece of it. Now hold on. It doesn't mean you can just walk in and start acting like the new boss, even though apparently one monkey actually did try that. It just means you have a small claim on all the profits that company makes. So when you decide to sell an asset, one of two things is going to happen. If you bought a banana for 1 leaf and you sell it for 2, that extra leaf you made is a capital gain. Awesome, you love to see it. But if you spent all your leaves on a PNG of a monkey that turns out to be worthless, yeah, that's a capital loss. Not so awesome. And this brings us to a super important strategy, diversification. You've probably heard the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, in our jungle, it's don't put all your leaves in one basket. It's the same idea. You invest in bananas, for sure, but maybe also some coconuts, some apples. That way, if a huge banana blight hits, your entire stash doesn't get wiped out. And here's one of the best perks of owning stocks. When the big banana company is doing really, really well, it might decide to share some of those profits directly with you, its owners. These payments are called dividends. Just think of them as a little thank you gift for being a shareholder. And of course, the more stock you own, the bigger your gift. Okay, so we know how to invest for ourselves. Now let's pull the camera back a bit. Section 3 is all about learning to read the overall vibe of the entire financial jungle. The ups, the downs, and the general mood. You're going to hear these two terms all the time. A bull market is when everything is generally going up. Stock prices are climbing, and all the monkeys are feeling pretty optimistic. A bear market is the exact opposite. Prices are falling, and the mood is, well, pretty pessimistic. Here's an easy way to remember it. A bull's horns point up, and a bear hibernates by going down. Volatility is all about how wild the ride is. It measures the speed and the size of the market swings. So if the price of a banana bounces from 5 leaves down to 2 and then shoots up to 10, all in just a few days, that's high volatility, a very bumpy ride. But a slow, steady climb from 5 to 6 leaves, that's low volatility. A monopoly is what happens when one single company has total control over everything. Just imagine if one company owned every single banana in the whole jungle. They could charge whatever they wanted. A related ideal you'll hear is an oligopoly. That's when it's not just one company, but a small handful of them that control the market. So how do you figure out what an entire company is actually worth?
Well, you calculate its market capitalization, or market cap for short. And the math is actually super simple. You just take the price of one share and multiply it by the total number of shares that exist. So if there are 100 shares out there, and each one is selling for 5 leaves, the market cap is 500 leaves. That's it.
Okay, deep breath. We've covered personal finance, we've covered investing, and we've covered the market itself. So let's finish this up with section 4, a few advanced moves for the really, really clever monkeys out there. Leverage is a powerful tool. It's like using a giant lever to lift a heavy rock. It multiplies your strength. In finance, it means borrowing money so you can invest more than you actually have. Now, this can seriously amplify your gains if you're right. But, and this is a big but, it can also amplify your losses just as easily if you're wrong. It is definitely a high-risk, high-reward kind of move. Okay, this next one can feel a little backwards at first. It's called shorting a stock, and it's basically betting that its price will go down. Here's how it works. First, you borrow an asset, like 10 bananas. Step 2, you immediately sell them for the current high price, say 100 leaves. Then you wait. If you're right and the banana price drops, you buy those 10 bananas back for way cheaper, maybe 50 leaves. Finally, you return the 10 bananas you borrowed, and you get to pocket the 50 leaf difference. A hedge is basically your financial insurance policy. It's a second investment you make just to protect your first one from going bad. For example, if all your leaves are tied up in banana stocks, a smart hedge might be to also invest in coconuts. That way, if a big storm comes and wipes out the banana crop, your coconut investment can help soften that blow. It's your backup plan. Arbitrage might be the simplest concept of them all. It's really just the art of the hustle. You're taking advantage of a price difference for the exact same item, just in 2 different places. So if you can buy bananas for 1 leaf over in banana land and then turn around and sell them for 5 leaves in monkey land, that 4-leaf difference, that's pure arbitrage profit. And there you have it. From assets all the way to arbitrage, you now speak the language of the financial jungle. You have the tools to understand the conversation, to spot the opportunities, and to make much smarter moves with your own banana stash. So the only question left is, what's your next move?